meeting to
Recording
order.
in progress.
And it is my pleasure to introduce students at Sunset Ridge Elementary School. Aria, Sophia, Nina, Delilah, Maverick, Nico, who will lead us in the flag salute, read the land acknowledgement, and provide highlights of their school.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be there.
Thank you.
The Pacifica School District acknowledges that we gather on the unceded ancestral homelands of the Ramaytush Ohlone people. As guests, we humbly extend our gratitude to the Ramaytush Ohlone Elder Faith community. We recognize that we benefit from living and working on their traditional homelands, and we affirm their sovereign rights as First Peoples. Likewise, Pacifica School District commits to teaching our school community how to be responsible stewards of this land. Now we will say what we're looking forward to in fifth grade. In fifth grade, I'm looking forward to the art visit and also to express yourself. In fifth grade, I'm looking forward to being the leader of family day because I get to meet new people. In fifth grade, I'm looking forward to as a fifth grader, I'm looking forward to having fun futures because I love futures. I'm looking forward to going to outdoor ed because I want to explore nature. And I just want to acknowledge a new vice principal, Mrs. Stevenson. She was a great teacher at Ortega, and I can't wait to see what she does.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you guys had like the most unique names that I've had to read so far. Thank you. Barbara, can you take the roll?
Yes, trustee Vidal.
Here.
Trustee Bikini.
Here.
Trustee Doggett.
Here.
Trustee Patel is absent. Trustee Gilroy.
Here. The district records the audio portion of the meetings. All recordings are kept in the superintendent's office for 30 days and are available during that time period for inspection by members of the public on district equipment without charge. In-person speakers wishing to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items, please complete a request card with your name, address, and item number and submit it to the board president or superintendent. You will be called to address the board and may speak up to 3 minutes. Virtual speakers wishing to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items, please submit your name and last name and agenda item you wish to speak on in the Q&A area of the webinar. Please do not submit comments or questions in the Q&A area. You will be called to address the board. Your microphone will be unmuted and you may speak for up to 3 minutes. Please note, the public is welcome to provide comment to the board. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes unless extended or limited by vote of the board. A maximum of 20 minutes unless extended by the board is allocated for each subject discussed. The Brown Act open meeting regulations under which the board must operate do not allow board members to comment on non-agenda items or information you may bring up that are not on the agenda. Additionally, no action can be taken. However, the board may give direction to staff following a comment. And approval of the agenda. I recommend the removal of item 3 of the agenda as it is unnecessary and was placed on the agenda in error. And moving item 8B, approval to hire vice principal, to be heard after item 6, communications. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion to approve as amended.
No, second.
All in favor, please raise your hands. Motion passes 4-0.
Approval of the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be approved with one motion, which is not debatable and which requires a unanimous vote for passage. If any member of the board, superintendent, or the public so requests, any item shall be removed from this section and placed in the regular order of business following approval of the consent agenda. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor, raise your hands. Motion passes. Ready? All in favor, raise your hand. Consent agenda.
The consent
I
agenda.
got her.
Motion passes 5-0.
And then we're moving on to superintendent and board special recognition.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our board of trustees. It is indeed a fantastic day. Glad to see all of our ladies here, our wonderful queens, and our staff members and community members. It is indeed a pleasure this evening to come before you as we honor two of our community greats. First up, I'd like to honor someone who's very special to Pacifica School District and also new to Pacifica community. This evening, we'd like to first invite our chief, Maria Sarasua, to come forward. As a school community, as a district, and as a superintendent, it is always an honor for us to take time out to acknowledge those who make us who we are, those who help to protect our community, and also to support the efforts in educating our students in a safe and nurturing environment. This evening, we would like to thank Chief Maria Sarasua for her support in keeping our community and schools safe. Chief Sarasua and I joined Pacifica Community last year. Since assuming the role of Pacifica Police Chief in 2023, Chief Sarasua has been a brave and empathetic leader, demonstrating a strong dedication to community partnership for all. With 30 years of public safety experience and a dedication to innovative policing, Chief Sarasua is a beacon of positive presence in our community. Whether responding to a crisis or offering guidance in everyday situations, Chief Sarasua and her team consistently show up for our district. If we call late in the evening, early in the morning hours, and it is a situation involving our school or our staff or our students, Chief Sarasua will make herself available or ensure that one of her deputies, captains, anyone who can help us when we remain available. We keep in constant contact. She makes sure that the district is aware in terms of issues that may impact our schools on a daily basis, even on the weekends and on holidays. That is to be commended. Whether responding again to a crisis or giving guidance, she and her team, they constantly show up and provide the support we need the most. She leads with expertise and a genuine heart for students, making sure that our staff, our families, and our community feel deeply safe and heard. And for that, you are deeply appreciated and valued. We are grateful for your ability and your willingness to engage and your constant support. Thank you, Chief Sarasua. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Pacifica School District, the staff, family, and students, and the superintendent, you, for being a great community partner and leading with courage, compassion, and dedication. I am inspired by your leadership. Your leadership and commitment profoundly impact not only my leadership, but our community. And as a school district, we look forward to continuing our collaboration and benefiting from the support of the Pacifica Police Department, and of course you. So without further delay, if in fact, President Villalobos, would you please join us? On behalf of the Pacifica School District, Pacifica School District Board of Trustees and Superintendent present the Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Chief Maria Sarasua. Thank you for your service and commitment to our students and staff. Awarded this 28th day of August 2024. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate it.
Glad there's some tissues. I find myself getting a little misty-eyed up here. This is the greatest honor that I've received as the police chief of Pacifica. Thank you so much. It means a great deal to me. I accept this really on behalf of my dedicated staff. I can't take the credit for their hard work and their long hours, but they serve with love. We all do, with love for our Pacifican families, the school district, the community. I lead a little differently. I think my vision is maybe a little bit different from some traditional styles of policing. I think that we've evolved as an industry and are much more inclusive and supportive, and that especially matters in the lives of these young future leaders of Pacifica. So just know we want to be a supportive presence. Call on us if you ever need us. I'm so deeply humbled to be the recipient of this on the behalf of the Pacifica Police Department. And I thank you, the Board of Trustees, so much. Deeply humbled and appreciative.
Outstanding leadership.
Role model.
Role model picture. And so, in leading with leadership qualities that exude a heart for students, we will continue today's recognition by honoring another great in our community. San Mateo County Office of Education Superintendent Nancy McGee. On behalf of the Pacifica School District and the Board of Trustees, we are deeply honored to have the support of Superintendent Nancy McGee in our efforts to uplift our students, staff, and families. While she tirelessly supports the entire county, Superintendent McGee has a unique gift for personalizing her approach, ensuring that everyone feels valued and supported. We are grateful for her willingness to be a thought partner through complex situations and a reliable resource on a regular basis. With a true heart of gold and for kids, Superintendent McGee has dedicated over 40 years to equity and student-centered education. Her journey began as a high school English teacher and evolved into an influential leadership roles, including her current position as county superintendent. Her commitment to safe, inclusive, and innovative learning environments is evident through her work with the Coalition for Safe Schools and Communities, the Big Five safety protocols, and many more programs. To Superintendent Nancy McGee, we honor you today for not only your work in San Mateo County, but your work specifically in Pacifica School District. You have been here for us when we had complex and challenging times. You have been there to celebrate with us. You have also been there to remind us of good things. But all in all, you have done it with such grace and class. You are definitely a model and a class act to follow. And so with that, it is our honor today to share the honor with you in terms of your love and joy for children and ensuring that each and every child gets what they need in order to achieve and succeed. So this evening, along with Trustee Villalobos,
Yes, there's pictures.
Pacifica School District Board of Trustees and Superintendent present the Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Superintendent Nancy McGee. Thank you for your service and commitment to our students and staff, awarded this 28th day of August 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm kind of speechless, actually, which is hard to do with me. So such a pleasure to be here with the trustees and Superintendent Williams, with the students that are sitting in the room. This work is for you. It's for your future, your safety, your comfort, your ability to learn. So thank you guys for being here for this. It's an honor to serve, and it's really an honor to serve when when there's a real need and people reach out and ask for help. We at the county office want to step up and provide everything that we can to help you be successful. This is the most important work you could be doing. And we're your partners and just a phone call away. So thank you so much for the appreciation, and look forward to working with you throughout the year.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
That was really nice. Thank you. Thank you. We're moving on to communications. Speakers wishing to, am I in the right place? Yeah. Okay. Speakers wishing to address the board on agenda items or non-agenda items, please submit your first and last name on and agenda item you wish to speak on in the Q&A area of the webinar. Please do not submit comments or questions in the Q&A area. You will be called to address the board. Your microphone will be unmuted and you may speak for up to 3 minutes. After you have spoken, your microphone will be muted. Please note, the public is welcome to provide comment to the board. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes unless extended or limited by vote of the board. A maximum of 20 minutes, unless extended by the board, is allocated for each subject discussed. The Brown Act open meeting regulations under which the board must operate do not allow board members to comment on non-agenda items or information you may bring up that are not on the agenda. Additionally, no action can be taken. However, the board may give direction to staff following a comment. Okay, so we have LSEA. Megan?
Hi.
Oh, we have CSEA.
Well, I'm speaking for Megan.
Oh.
So Megan had an emergency at home, so I have her words.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to do this justice here.
So Megan said she could speak if you speak first.
Yeah.
She's on here.
Oh,
fantastic. I'm a little nervous too because I had my speech all prepared and then I got some little ad libs here. So let's see if I can do my speech justice. Good evening, board members, Dr. Williams, colleagues, and guests. I'm Charlene Hilo, and this is Tiffany Hanna. We are co-presidents for the CSEA. See, I'm messing up already. 28, sorry. Before we begin, we want to start off by thanking Dr. Williams and the board for meeting with us in an informal setting once a month. It's very satisfying to get to know each other in such a positive and welcoming way. And we really appreciate that. We always said we were going to try and keep our speeches positive, but then, you know, we have to represent our members, and a few have come up to us and to bring, this is the concern that we're going to focus on tonight. As they reviewed the board agenda, a lot of them noticed a growing pay disparity between our district paraprofessionals and the contracted paraprofessionals working alongside them. Our district paraprofessionals work hard every day, often side by side with contracted paraprofessionals, yet they are earning significantly less for the same work. This is more than just a numbers issue. It's about how we value our employees. When they see that we're paying so much more for contracted services, it's tough for them to feel appreciated and fairly compensated. And this is where I'm going to ad lib because someone gave me numbers. So We're approving 5 contracted paras tonight, totaling over $500,000. If we can afford that for contractors, can't we afford to give our current paras more and fill open positions with competitive wages? Last year, we spent over $80,000 on contracted custodians. While we understand the need for contracted services at times, this raises a difficult question. How can we tell our members that there aren't enough funds for better pay when such large sums are being allocated elsewhere? We believe there must be a way to find a balance, a sweet spot, where we can attract and retain our own classified employees. If we can continue to rely heavily on outside contracts, we may eventually run out of local community members who are willing to sacrifice a fair salary just to give back to the place they call home. Our employees aren't here solely for the paycheck. They're here because they love the community and want to make a difference. I mean, a lot of us, we work at the schools that our children went to, right? We care about that, our community. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't ensure they are paid a fair wage that allows them to live comfortably in this community. We're confident that with some adjustments, we can strike that balance between a fair salary and maintaining the district's financial stability. Thank you for considering this important issue. Let's work together to ensure our employees feel valued and that we continue to build a strong, committed workforce from within our community. On a lighter note, Tiffany gets to do the recognition. I lost my pen. Oh, sorry.
All right, so our Above and Beyond Awards. The Above and Beyond Awards are a special recognition of those who have gone the extra mile in their roles, demonstrating exceptional dedication, compassion, and service to our community. Our August 2024 recipients are Marta Gretsch, Fiscal Technician, District Office. Marta Gretsch joined our district in June 2016 as an administrative secretary and has been serving as a fiscal technician since January 2019. Marta has been instrumental in maintaining the flow of business in our business department through multiple staffing changes. Her diligence ensures that purchase orders, contracts, and district-wide purchasing are handled efficiently. Marta's support extends to our child nutrition department, where she plays a crucial role in ensuring that our students' needs are met. And our other recipient is Ellen Crane, paraprofessional at Ortega School. Ellen Crane, who has been with our district since 2020, is a valued member of the Ortega School community. Her positive attitude and willingness to lend a hand whenever needed make her an indispensable part of the team. Ellen's hard work and helpful nature have a significant impact on the students and staff she serves, and we are grateful for her contributions. In closing, CSEA Chapter 128 is extremely proud of all of our Above and Beyond recipients. Our classified employees are the heart of our schools, dedicated to the success of our students, our district, and our community. We will continue to celebrate and reward the hard work, dedication, and contributions of these incredible individuals. Union proud, union strong. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to a fantastic school year.
Okay, so Megan is, she's up there. Thanks.
Hi.
We can't, see you,
Are we
Megan.
good? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Flashbacks to doing all these from my dining room table. All right, 11 days in and relatively quiet for the union. We have had a few issues pop up with some of our union members and are working to address those. Our classrooms are now staffed, albeit some with long-term subs until we find someone. We are also still in need of elementary music and band teachers and a counselor and mental health lead. Our starting salary of $55,000 is not attracting nor retaining our newer teachers. Yesterday, LSEA leadership met with the superintendent, and one of the items we discussed were the collaborative meetings we have scheduled with the superintendent and board meetings. LSEA's interest is to ensure members with the expert knowledge of the topic at hand are present and in the room. Rachel Merlot and I know a lot about many things, but we are certainly not the experts and want to ensure time is well spent with appropriate union members invited to the meetings. We look forward to our first meeting with you on September 11th. We appreciate the work our CSEA colleagues did to get our rooms ready. However, they were very short on time given all the outside programs that had access to our classrooms and our school sites this summer. We hope for improvements in scheduling these programs and the cleaning schedule next year. Many teachers were delayed getting in their rooms to prepare for students. Some rooms had major cleaning woes that needed their attention too. LSCA and CSCA would like to give PSD employees and board members your verbal save the date for the back to school social. Thanks to retired teacher and forever LSEA social organizer Charlotte Jacobs, we have secured Sharp Park for all of us to enjoy on September 26th. More details to follow. Thank you.
Okay, and I don't have any cards. People wishing to address the board. Is there anybody online? No? Correspondence. Linda, do you want to start?
I have no correspondence, but I can start with my communications. Mainly, the biggest thing I participated in was the Magic School Bus, which is becoming a fun tradition at the beginning of the year. Just have to figure out how to get to Valmar at the end there. So, I think that was my fault both times. I get lost in the school, so. So anyway, just been busy for me, just kind of beginning of school stuff, getting my own family into schools and, so anyway, but I'm glad to get it going, and it's been really nice to have the nice new addition to the school district, and looking forward to this year.
I also have no correspondence, but I was able to attend the all staff meeting to kick off the school year. I really enjoyed that, so thank you for the invitation. And that's pretty much it. It's just been busy getting children to school.
And Elizabeth?
I have no correspondence and I was traveling for the last month, so I'm looking forward to attending at least one open house tomorrow. No correspondence.
I had a couple correspondence. One was from Margot Mynan, and she is an environmental advocate, and she is with the Pacifica Beach Coalition, and she's interested in giving us information on electrification. And so that's the newest thing that's happening with buildings, new buildings. And so we've got the information, and we'll discuss it at our September 4th meeting about the workforce or educational housing. The other one was from a special ed parent, and I always welcome correspondence from parents or any of the community members. It is recommended, though, since I'm not there in the school with you guys, your principals are the ones who know the most information. And so I can help push along the information, but the ones who know it the best are the ones who are on site. And then I also went to I've had my meetings with the superintendent, weekly meetings, and then we had our first collaboration meeting with CSEA. That was Tiffany and Shar. And I've known both of them for like 18 years, so it's quite different. Can't explain it. And then I'm really thankful that Superintendent Williams did recommend that we do this, because we need to build our relations with the union members. And then also we had the PD day that included all the staff at IBL for the safety presentations from Superintendent McGee. And she shared a lot of personal information. She was in an actual school shooting when she was a principal. And so she was able to give us that insight. And then the Pacifica Police Department was there too, to review just, the incidents that we had last year. But that's it for me.
Thank you. And I will share mine during the welcome back to school presentation. That's it.
Okay, so moving on, we're on information items. I'm sorry. This is number item 8B. And approval to hire a vice principal of guidance and learning. And the speaker is Dr. Torres.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Superintendent Dr. Williams. Tonight, we would like to request approval to hire Vice Principal of Guidance and Learning for Sunset Ridge School. Ms. Karen Stevenson has been selected as the new Vice Principal of Guidance and Learning at Sunset Ridge. Ms. Stevenson has a strong belief that all children deserve the opportunity to learn in a community that acknowledges and appreciates their unique abilities and experiences. She is excited about the opportunity to help support the learning community at Sunset Ridge and has been an educator for the past 22 years, 17 of those years in Pacifica and 7 of those years at Sunset Ridge. In her journey as a teacher, she has had numerous experiences that have helped to shape her craft and philosophy. She has piloted and implemented a variety of curriculums and programs, supported new teachers, and collaborated with teams of educators to implement special programs that support students' varying needs. Specifically, in the past year, Ms. Stevenson was working on her preliminary administrative credential while also serving as a teacher in charge at Ortega School, as well as the response to intervention teacher. These roles combine to help her build a deeper understanding of school systems and the role instructional leaders can play in shaping school culture. Ms. Karen Stevenson received a master's in education and multiple subject credential from the University of California, Santa Cruz, and Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology with a minor in math for high school teaching from the University of California, Santa Barbara. We are excited to welcome Ms. Karen Stevenson for her new role as Sunset Ridge School Vice Principal of Guidance and Learning in the Pacifica School District community. Therefore, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve Pacifica School District to hire Ms. Karen Stevenson as the new Vice Principal of Guidance and Learning at Sunset Ridge School for the school year 2024-2025.
Oh, do we have any questions? Was I supposed to read something?
I will make a motion to approve.
No second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0.
Karen, oh,
You gotta go to back to school, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And now we're moving on to 7A Pacifica Education Foundation presentation. And this is Speaker Johnny Davis. And is Amy here?
She has personal matters. She is not here. I'm empowered to speak on her behalf too, as well.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to say thank you all so much for giving us the time tonight to address each and every one of us in here. It's my honor. It's a privilege. I'm tickled pink. Thank you so much. I'm talking to you guys too. In typical fashion, I'd like to break from my typical script here tonight just a moment. And when I saw Ellie here earlier, it reminded me something. So I want to ground some of the information I'm going to share with you all today about PEF in a quick, brief story that is positive. 7 years ago, as a father at TK at Sunset Ridge, Ellie was doing her back to school night presentation, just like is happening tonight. And I was in the audience as a complete anxious, dad into a school system here in the Pacific School District. She said they needed volunteer help from anywhere and everywhere, and there were all types of things she could do. I'm not typically one to raise my hand and volunteer, but she did say, if as a parent or as a family member supporting one of the children in our district, if you show up at school, your children are more likely to A, go on to college, and B, more importantly, succeed and thrive in life. So that's all I needed to hear. So I raised my hand, and Ellie said, we need you to partner with PEF and talk to the district and tell them what our school is up to. This was at Sunset Ridge 7 years ago today. For better or for worse, I'm still here representing PEF, and I've made tremendous milestones along the way as a team. The message here is simply, when you have a calling, answer the door, step in. You have an opportunity to dedicate maybe 2 to 4 hours of life in a month that will be very precious, so rewarding, and so valuable, not just for your child, not just for you, but for the district as well. So little nod to everyone, get out there and do something positive in the foundation. With that, I'll get into giving you all an address on the Pacifica Education Foundation, also known as PEF. We're not going to talk about who is PEF because it's actually what is PEF. Our priorities, where our funding comes from, and how you can support PEF and how you can get in touch with us if you're interested in volunteering with us. Next slide, please. We've been around for about 15 years, and my God, I've been there for about half of them now. Initially came on to PEF as a school ambassador. After about 3 months of traveling through, trying to figure out how I could best represent, I decided to break out of my mold, get out of my lane, and find something I could do that was meaningful. So I've been there 7 years. Since then, our mission has always been to protect and advance a quality education equitably, serving all 6 schools in the district, roughly 1,600 students this year. At our peak, I think it was around 2,300. We are independent. We are a non-profitable charitable organization representing the district. So we have a very close triage, a perfect trifecta, if you will, between the PSD, PTOs, and the Pacifica Education Foundation, aka PEF. We are an 8-person volunteer board, but I want to double click into that a little bit. In the past 2 years, the members of our board have moved on. They've moved out of the district, they've retired, and they've served tremendous amount of time with PEF over the years. So what that means now is we have effectively a brand new, fresh board, brand new faces. We are all super enthusiastic, very eager to make a difference. And we are also lacking experience. So anyone that wants to volunteer with us, we encourage you to do that. We also have plenty of school ambassadors, such as I had mentioned earlier, someone that represents the school and PEF as well. 96% of our revenue goes directly back into the program, funding the budget gaps that our district has. Think about that for a minute. 96 cents of every dollar we raise goes back into the district. We are a silent partner working with and on behalf of the district here. Now, last year was a bit of a challenge. We tried some new things, and we've also postponed our donation days, which is our biggest fundraising event of the year. We did not host that this past May. We pushed it out intentionally for reasons I won't get into, but they were primarily to align with PTO events, as well as our capacity as a board. So stay tuned and watch for that in November. I'll double click into that in a few more slides here. Last but not least, and this is probably most important, we raise funds through the Pacifica community to support the programs. Remember, PEF is music, arts, and science. We bring those programs to a head, but it is funded by the community. We are exploring grant pursuit much more heavily. We landed a couple of fantastic ones. Sam Mazza Foundation last year, you all probably recall, has been very profitable for us, but it'll expire in 1 more year. It's a 3-year grant. Okay. Next slide, please. So the goals of PEF, and I think I've already captured that through my dialogue here. We raise funds to fill gaps that the district has. It is not the district's, what's the word I want to use? It's not the district's fault that we have budget gaps. It is at the state level. So please don't hold our district accountable for a budget that they only have a few dollars for that requires tens of thousands. We want to align with the PSD strategic plan. This is something we've been doing for a long time, and we look forward to continuing that with Dr. Darnice Williams. We want to support core curriculum. As I mentioned a moment ago, we are music, arts, and science. To that end, TK through 2, we want to really invest there when we have an opportunity, more funds, and bring STEM programs to the forefront. And last but not least, and this is going to be always for PEF, we are equitable. So any of the programs we do are benefits to all of the schools, unlike PTOs that directly benefit the school. And that's a good thing too. Our priorities for this year, pretty much the same ones we've had since I've been there now 7 years. We want to raise funds, and by raise funds, I mean kill it. We need to get a lot more funds. I've recognized a glass ceiling over the past 5 years with our ability to raise internally from the community I don't need to necessarily share those numbers, but I keep trying so hard to raise that goal by 10 to 15% annually, and we just keep coming short. So anything that can be done to help us raise awareness in the community and the importance of PEF is highly valued, and I thank you for that. We want to engage and closely partner with the PSD principals and PTOs. This is the holy trifecta I mentioned earlier. We're doing it right now. We'll continue doing that. We have great relationships with everyone, and I'm so thankful for that and happy to be part of it also. I didn't mention the PSD families though, and that's priority number 3 in no particular order. And especially those new to the district, and I'll double click into that. So I mentioned a moment ago, TK through 2 is so critical. Why? They're brand new to the district, and just like I was 7 years ago, wanted to get involved in any way I can. We see some erosion of families and their participation in schools. Once you hit 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, you kind of, the kids are out the front gate and they're off and running. And so the parents are starting to step back a little bit. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but don't. It's important that we all stay involved and actively nurturing those relationships our children have, as well as with the community members that are our educational leaders that are helping our children become tomorrow's leaders. So you need to be in there for the long haul, not just to kick them out of the front door. With that said, though, we understand, and TK through 2 is our target area for raising awareness. There's such high level of involvement, such curiosities there, and there's a lot of motivation hiding behind all of that. So we can tap into that really well. We want to expand the board. I mentioned a few moments ago, we lost 5 of our members that have been around for 6+ years. I now have the longest tenure at PEF. I don't know if that's good or bad or not, but what it does mean is I'm busy trying to educate and uplift and share my experience with our new board members so that they can carry the torch forward alongside me. They are very capable. I am capable as well, and tickled pink to be able to be part of extending their journey with us. Last but not least, number 5, generating expanded community support and new business partnerships. What is a business partnership, you might ask? There are approximately 70 businesses locally that have partnered with PEF. And if you are a PEF member, they offer exclusive discounts, partner perks, to anyone that simply flashes their card. Imagine I just flashed mine, it's in my wallet. We're expanding that so that it provides more value to our membership, perceived value, so that when you do decide to purchase a membership, you are tapping into a network of businesses that are giving you discounts, and the card literally pays for itself. I'm sure we've all heard that before. Next slide, please. Funding. I'm pleased to say that last year we took a survey of our community base and we learned a few things. One was nobody really knew where the money PEF has went. So we created an infographic this past year that represents this numbers you're seeing on the screen. It's clear we invest heavily in music. There's over 100,000 represented right here. Middle school band taking it up to about 125. Spark Poetry. I love this program. It is so impactful for anyone that's involved in it. Totaling around 171,000. I like to round that up to 175. Imagine what we could do if we had 50% more of that. Imagine those new STEM programs that I spoke of. I'd love to see that happen. If you have any questions about our funding, how it's directed, if you want to see it at a high level, such as you see here, or if you want to see breakdown on like how much did we spend on horns and music sheets and music instrument repair, go to our website. All those details are there now, and going forward, they will remain there annually. Next slide. How do we raise funds? I've already touched on one of the items, donation days, which was back in May. It didn't happen. We postponed it. So that took a tremendous amount of capital that we typically would be able to use and pushed its value into November of this year. So not saying we're scratching to raise funds, but it does change how we evaluate the programs and what we're capable of doing. So the takeaway here is donation days is a fun, lively school competition that really invokes school spirit, pitting schools against one another in an effort to raise funds for PEF. We have rewards for the top 3 performing schools across either most dollars raised, most improved from the year before, or the most unique number of donations by school. So that really gives us the ability to celebrate any school's diversity and financial capabilities. It's a 3-day long drive, and we hope this year to raise nearly $100,000 in those 3 days. Think about that. That is tremendous. Next, Spring Gala. That's coming up in March. For the past 2 years, we've decided to really up our game, and we've been hosting it at the Skyline College Farallon Room. Beautiful place overlooking our own little sleepy beach town, sunset, glass windows, 60-foot high by 200-foot wide. Fantastic entertainment. As you all know, it is a black and white tie affair, dressed to the nines. It is so much fun. We bring a lot of energy and pour a tremendous amount of time into planning that. And it is a success. We tried some new things this past year. Some worked, some didn't. Those that didn't, out with you and in with the new stuff. We really look forward to that. I recommend once you hear us socializing the gala, you purchase your tickets right away. Perhaps your membership will award and afford you with free tickets already as part of one of the many membership level tiers we have. It's great, and it sells out 2 weeks in advance these days. And then last but not least, you've heard me mention the membership program. We have 4 tiers. There's pretty much a membership program for anyone. Many of the membership program tiers pay for themselves based on our partner perks. Remember, it's a tax write-off. We are a nonprofit, and your company may also be able to match your contribution towards your membership. Remember, it is a donation, so your company can match it if they do. Speaking of the membership program, I wanted to put a pin in that also. Quick survey here. How many members does Pacifica Education Foundation have currently that are active? So we have 1,600 families. If 1 in 2 families had a membership, that would be roughly, what is that, 800? I think I'm doing math well here. So how, just a random guess, anyone, throw it out here. Don't leave me hanging.
500?
I hear 500. One more guess. It's lower.
300?
300. I wish it's still lower.
75.
75. Darnice is probably plugged into some of our content here. So it is just under 75, and maybe it'll be 75 after you're done with this conversation tonight. That's about 1 in 20 families. Think about that for a minute. 1 in 20 families are supporting the foundation that directly contributes to their children's educational experience, and it's equitable across all 6 schools. I'm here to change that tonight. I don't want anyone to purchase a membership now, though. Remember, Donation Days is in November, and that's when we have the big school spirit rally cry. So sit tight. But my goal, before I'm done, and I should have mentioned this, I'm the president of PEF now. My goal is to have 1 in 4 families have a membership, okay? So that's only 25% of our student school family base, all right? Thanks for playing along with that survey. Next slide. This is a difficult donut to interpret, and God knows we all love donuts, especially the jelly-filled ones. Let me leave you with this. All of the programs we offer bring an incredible experience to our students. It's not just about music. It's not just about poetry. You're not just reading sheet music. You're not just learning how to rhyme. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Behind that, and this is where the real value is life skills. Life experience is being developed in real time. We're developing stage presence, presentation skills, confidence. Kids are finding their inner voice, and they're feeling empowered. And that is the real result, and that's what you're investing in. You're not investing in sheet music. You're investing in your students' ability to thrive in life, succeed, and feel good about it along the way. Any questions? All right, I'm wrapping up. How can you support PEF? Well, I think I've nailed that on all counts here tonight. please become a PEF member, but wait until November. Use your PEF membership at almost 70 local businesses. It's grown since we shipped this deck to Barbara. Share our PEF events with those that you know, the donation days and the gala event, and please attend too. Spread the word about PEF, covered that. Share grant prospects. This is untapped, uncharted territory for us. We don't have a lot of experience here. Someone in our community certainly does. I'd love to hear from you. And last but not least, and probably most important, we are eagerly, they told me not to use the word anxiously, identifying candidates to serve as board members or volunteers. We don't desperately, but are actively looking for a treasurer and an ops person so that I can move on to other things too. And you can contact me directly, jdavis@pacificaef.org. You can hit us at info@pacificaef.org. And I'm pleased to announce Amy Skeeters-Barons as our PTO PSD liaison as a board member. She would be happy to hear from you also. Thank you all so much for your time tonight. I really genuinely appreciate it.
Thank you. I just have one comment. My daughter was a participant in Spark Poetry for several years. Really great program. And we've been supporting PEF as a family for a while. So I just wanted to say thank you for what you do, because now she's a performer in a musical theater program at her high school. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mike Taylor and that whole program.
yeah, Mike is amazing. So yeah.
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're moving on to 7B, welcome back to school update with Dr. Williams and Dr. Bowman and the school principals.
Good evening again. Good evening, trustees of Pacifica School District. Again, it is a pleasure to share with you this evening our back to school report. Joining me today in the presentation, we have our fantastic leaders of our school site who make our days go smoother and smoother and smoother every day. It is because of their leadership that we have phenomenal instructors and that they feel supported for the most part, and that they also provide us with feedback. They're engaging, and again, they do love and enjoy children and the families that they serve. And so with that, I invite each of them to join me in this presentation as we will give you an overview of the opening of school for 2024-2025, along with our new Executive Director of Education Services, Dr. Carissa Bowman. And so we are so excited that we were able to kick off this year with understanding what it means to have a mission of preparing each of our Pacifica school students, attendees, for an evolving world. As we know, the world is becoming so complex right now and it's forever changing. And so we understand that the instruction that we provide for our students must take into account the complexities of the changing world, and also a need for resilience, and also to inspire curiosity. But mainly what we like to focus on is joy, and also building confidence in each one of our students. In order for us to do that, we were able to remind ourselves as a school district, not a small team of folk, but an entire school district landed on 4 pillars for our focus. And we call it ACE, as in let's ace the year, with attendance, ensuring that all of our students arrive to school on time, not only because it's the right thing to do or a good thing to do, but it also allows our students to engage socially with their peers, also to connect with their teachers and staff members, and then also allows them to grow intellectually. Academics, the second A. We want to make sure that we are providing the most rigorous instructional program that is going to prepare all of our students for the complexities of high school and beyond. Community engagement. Mr. Davis, thank you for reminding us the importance of community engagement. As we acknowledged our leaders today, our community warriors, we understand that we don't do this work alone. And then equity. Every child has a need, every staff member has a need. And so it is our commitment to work to our best capacity and capability to ensure that all of our students receive what they need and our staff members also receive what they need, as you see the concentric circle, and that we work and provide a framework and a system that provides the support systems in order to enable our staff and our teachers and our leaders to do their work in a way and in a fashion that's going to create students who are creative, resilient, empathetic, critical thinkers, responsible, and respectful. And as we ground this work, we also remember that our LCAP guides everything that we do. And that is to make sure, again, our kids have access to a rigorous and engaging instructional program, our first goal. Our second goal, to make sure that we increase achievement for all students. We are proud in Pacifica to say that in our class results in mathematics and in ELA, we are at 50%, a little above in each. So it means two things for us. One, that we have 50% of our students doing very well in math and English, and we applaud that. It also means that we outpace our county and also state results as well. But with that, second part is it also brings an opportunity for us to do some deep dive in terms of what must we do to ensure that more of our students are getting what they need so they too can demonstrate their level of academic growth and also a development. And so we started this year out to welcome the staff. We welcomed the staff back on Monday the 14th, and we were very excited. It started off with a message from yours truly and reminding staff that there are three things that we want to remember this year that we learned through the Olympics. And that was joy, resilience, and legacy. As we talk about legacy, it is very important that we remember that Pacifica School District has a great legacy of community input, of performance, of innovation, and of resilience. And so with that, we want to always remind ourselves that it's going to be joy, resilience, and the legacy that we want to create, the long-standing historical work that everyone has put into our community, into our school district to make it what it is, that is going to carry us beyond this year and forward. We had an opportunity to focus on safety. As you know, safety is one of our priorities. We want to make sure that when our students come to school, that they are in a safe, nurturing environment that is free of any barrier that will prevent them from accessing their relationships with their friends, with their teachers, and then also with instruction. And so we welcome Superintendent Nancy McGee, who also led the presentation and helped to train with her staff, our entire staff, on the Big 5 protocols for responding to emergencies and crises. In addition, we have representation from the Pacifica Police Department that we also partner with, who also shared with us some tips in terms of how to think on your feet, how to think quickly, what resources you could access from the Pacifica Police Department to ensure that we are creating a safe and nurturing learning environment for all. And so with that, sometimes when we hear news about the budget, this is the message to all of our folks, is that there is such a thing called good tidings or glad tidings, and that is the good news. As you know, Pacifica, the city of Pacifica, has been ranked as one of the safest places to live in the United States. The safest place to live in the United States. Woo, that's a good one. In an era where safety is among one of the highest worries and creators of anxiety, we live in the 15th place, safest place, urban, suburban communities in our country. And so that is good news. So knowing that we have part of that safe and nurturing environment already ahead of us, it is time for us to look at the good news and the great things that we do within our community and within our school district. We have started to lift student voice. And in lifting student voice, we have developed the Superintendent Student Advisory Committee, where we're giving students a voice. We want to hear how they're responding to school. How are we serving them? It is important for us also to look at our learning profile. How do we prepare our students to graduate? What is it that we expect them to accomplish after they leave Pacifica School District? We have good news about more than 50% of all of our students in grades 3 through 8 have met grade level standards. There's a percentage of students meeting math standards increased in one grade level in 4th grade from 49% to 54%. We have students meeting ELA standards and they increased in grade 3. We had 4th grade, 6th grade, and also 8th grade. And we also, as a community, bonded together to pass the Measure G bond. That is good news. And looking at good news, we also shared that coming forth, we have a huge project that's going to support our recruitment and retention efforts, and that is workforce housing. The time has finally come. So much work has been started. There has been so many meetings, so much, everyone contributed, and so much sacrifice is the word that I'm looking for. And I see you laugh because you've been right there with everyone. And while I was not here, I do feel the commitment and also the energy in terms of let's attract a workforce with affordable housing where they can live in the community in which they serve and afford to do so is very important. So we look forward to the groundbreaking ceremony coming this October 17th at 4:30 p.m. More information will come, but that is extremely amazing and good news within Pacifica School District. Also, while we do understand there is a need to reduce our contracted employees, our team has been working to meet that goal. We have reduced by 7% the contracted employees in special education in the year of 2024, 2025, from 2023, 2024. We also know that in our nutrition and food services department, there was an 8% increase in students receiving meals. And then also, we have our classified pipeline for paraprofessionals to credentials. So assisting our paraprofessionals from moving from that point of being a paraprofessional into getting their teaching credential. And that is good news as well. And so in addition to that, where you have the district, which resides in the community that is among the safest communities within our country, we also know that it takes great leaders in order to sustain the school and also for us to accomplish those goals and our missions that we have set forth. And so we opened the year with a 3-day Principal Leadership Academy. We focused on how principals affect students in schools, also soft skills. We looked at data, achievement data. We also designed and talked about what would be our instructional focus for the year. At next month's meeting, we're going to be proud to bring you the data and the results from all of our schools within our districts, as well as how we performed district-wide. In addition, we talked about, based on data, what our instructional shifts or focus would be. And the draft pending teacher input would be build teacher collective efficacy around implementing daily formative assessment strategies and data dialogues to ensure that all students meet grade level standards each year. In addition, we were able to have a new certificate staff professional development on August the 19th. we were able to welcome all of our new staff members and teachers to Pacifica School District. They had an onboarding where they discussed again our 4 pillars, our framework for MTSS, and also the importance of team building and a host of other resources. It was great. And what has become a tradition in Pacifica, the Magic School Bus Tour. On the first day of school, at the crack of dawn, we all arrived here at the district building here, the district office at about 5 a.m. in the morning. But what's important is that we want to acknowledge our staff members who arrive at 3 and 5 a.m. every single day. And so on the first day of school, we made a commitment to have breakfast with our van drivers and then also with our maintenance and facilities staff members, not only to thank them for their hard work in getting the schools ready for the first day, but also just to break bread with them, to let them know how important they are to us and to our system. We were joined by our trustee Brokini, and it was a great day filled with visiting offices. We visited each school. We welcomed parents. We cheered everyone on. We also had a little music here and there. We answered lots of questions. We were able to hear the history of summer from some of our little ones. And you know, our little ones are very, very good with the words because they can talk for a long time and we love every bit of it. But it definitely was a magical day. But more than that, it was important for us, meaning the district office, myself, the cabinet leadership, and the trustees to show support to the very folks that are boots on the ground every day, and also for over 2,000 or 1,600 families that entrust their students to us every day to let them know that we're grateful, we're thankful for them, and we take our role as educators very seriously when it comes to their children. In addition to that week, and you see some of the faces were in the room today, and we were welcome, we felt welcomed ourselves because people received us very well, and they were kind, and they also took time to ask questions. And we are a resource, and that is why we are present. So we also appreciated their questions and also sharing their concerns and also their commendations. So coffee with a cop. I had an opportunity during the first week of school to attend a community event, and that is Coffee with a Cop. As earlier, we recognized Chief Sarah Sua for her work, and we want to also acknowledge her for working towards building better relationships with the community and the police department and law enforcement. And so in the attempt for us to build our partnership and to keep it strong, I attended Coffee with a Cop for an informal conversation about safety, just about our lives, our families, and how best that we can interact and support one another. And for me, finally, Board Superintendent and Labor Partner Collaborative. We are on a quest to build and strengthen and maintain our relationships with our labor partners, keeping it positive while understanding there's a level of advocacy on all fronts. We also want to get to know one another better, also listen more, listen more, listen more. And the more that we listen and we get to learn the core and root of the problems, the better we can collaborate, become strategic, and address our issues head on. And then also we can celebrate together when we're able to resolve conflicts and also differences, and then walk away and still understand that we value everyone's input because everyone is important and necessary in order for us to exist in our school district. So here you see our meeting with our CSEA leaders. We were smiling. In all honesty, I told them to smile because you know it looks better. And then here we are with our LNPA partners, and it's always better with a smile. And so that is the initial overview of the opening of school for the 2024-2025 school year from the district office perspective. I will now like to introduce Dr. Bowman, who's going to come forth as she supports our school principals along with myself and the cabinet, and she will introduce the schools and share the first day of school highlights.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. I have one of the most difficult jobs. I am now going to call up Tiffany Phillips to tell us a little bit about Cabrilla's beginning of the school day. They've come in to let you know and celebrate what has been going on. So. Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize. Excuse me.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Parrish. I'm the principal at Cabrillo. Thank you, board, for having us here tonight. You know, the start of school, you know, you see these beautiful smiles and these kids that show up and they're so happy to be there. And there's so much work that goes into this first day of school. So I have so much gratitude for all of our facility staff, our custodians. Our campus was beautiful. They worked really, really hard to make sure that we had extra furniture cleared from the hallways, that our floors were beautifully waxed. Our, grounds department, our facilities department, our grounds were really well taken care of. Everything was clean and tidy as school started. There's so much work. And of course, our teaching staff, our support staff, they pour in more hours than the couple of days that we give them right before school starts. Many of them have used hours and hours of their summers to prepare for this launch. And you can see the output here. I mean, kids just showed up. We have such an amazing community. I mean, Pacifica is such a unique and connected place. And I'm sure that we all feel this at our schools. You know, our kids were so happy to show up on day one. They're so happy. Their families are there. Of course, they're happy to say bye-bye and go on their day and leave them. They hand them off to us. But just such an exciting, very busy start of school. But such a positive experience. And that's been because of the work of so many people to get things ready. So I'm very appreciative to all the department heads here and for everyone who really just poured out to make sure that this was a nice, strong start for our campus. We were really excited because this year, we're always excited to welcome students. But we got to welcome TK students this year, and that was new for us at Cabrillo. So you see some of our TK friends here, and they were so happy to be at school, so happy to be at school. And the environment was just so lovingly created for them. Sorry, that was on the last slide. These are some of our other students. But just such a great environment created by our teacher, Miss Mooney, there to welcome our newest Cabrillo kiddos. So that was a great welcome for us. I mean, we were just so happy to welcome our TK kids. And then some of our kinders and first grade students who are just, they're so excited to be at school. And I love to capture that energy. They're so happy to be there. They love their teachers. They are just so grateful to come back and see their friends. So such a fun and amazing start. I'm grateful to everyone in our communities that made that happen because it was definitely a huge effort. So that is all for me, Cabrillo. Great start for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just as excited as the kindergartners were coming to school, we had the 6th and 7th and 8th graders come to school as well. And so we'll hear a little bit from IBL. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Alderson, principal at IBL, and we are off to a great start. And likewise, I thank everybody for their huge effort to get it going. I am going to talk a little bit about this past couple weeks, actually. Our teachers have done a fantastic job building relationships with the students and supportive classroom communities. They've shared our classroom expectations as well as our school expectations. And our classes are running smoothly. And it's awesome to see the kids so happy and excited to be back. Even middle schoolers are excited. The energy at the crosswalk and at lunchtime has been overwhelmingly positive. And on a personal note, I'm pleased to report that everyone received a schedule and nobody had 2 math classes, and they were all excited about that too. We had a wonderful back to school night. We're eager to create more opportunities for families to get involved. We also successfully rolled out Stop It today, which has already helped us address a couple concerns from students that might not have been reported otherwise. So that was great. Our homework center is up and running to encourage students who need a quiet place to do their homework and join us in the morning or after school. And I want to say thank you to Beth, especially because I'm really excited about to report that our band program is thriving this year. Most of our sixth grade students, there's only a few that decided not to come back. So they are now in the seventh grade and eighth grade advanced band. And I have to give a big shout out to our band director, Mr. Gower, for all of his dedication and work. And of course, Pat for supporting us. So we're off to a great start with many of our systems in place, and we look forward to a great year ahead.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to welcome our newest principal, Tony. He's going to tell us about Ocean Shore, and I know they've been busy. They've already had a family dinner, some spaghetti nights, and he's done this all within the first week or first couple of weeks. So please let us know about Ocean Shore.
Well, it's been a very exciting time for me personally, but personally, I didn't enjoy school as a kid, and so it's great to see kids coming in so excitedly. My mum still says to me to this day, "I can't believe you ended up working in a school when you hated school." And I said, I did hate school, and that's why I became a teacher, and that's why I'm a principal, because I want kids to love school. And that's the first day at Ocean Shore. That's exactly what I experienced. Kids were just so excited to come to school. They were so excited to see their teachers. The teachers were on the playground. We broke bread. Thank you for broke donuts. It was donuts. This was my first assembly with the kids, and I wanted to meet everyone all at once. It was just a fantastic time. And last week we had our first PTO function, which was the spaghetti night, which was phenomenal. It was great spaghetti. Meeting the middle school kids, the 6, 7, 8 kids, they do their electives in the morning, and they also do teaching, TAs, they're TAs, they're helping. It's great. First thing in the morning, the first hour, you see kids helping teachers put up displays, walking kids to the bathroom, helping them with their learning. My favorite one is the coffee cart. These two kids, they make coffee and they wheel it around, and the teachers come out their door and they're buying cups of coffee. It's just phenomenal. I just want to thank the custodians and the grounds crew who really worked really hard the last few weeks before school. We've been having construction at Ocean Shore to improve and add classrooms. And as a result, they left the doors open, so all the dirt came in and the dust. But the first day of school, you could have eaten your donut off the floor. It was so good. They worked really hard. I want to thank George and his crew for doing such a great job. I'm really enjoying it. I love Ocean Shore. I can hear the ocean from my office. It's just a fantastic school to be in. And the kids are just so happy to be back. It's really a pleasure.
Our next school is Ortega, and Ms. Romero could not be here, but you can tell from the pictures, they also had a fabulous start. If you're wondering if it's true, you will see the superintendent dancing on this slide, and she is also dancing on the next slide at Ortega during the student conference. And we were all there during the Magic School Bus, and we had a fabulous opening and the opportunity to work with kids. And now I'd like to invite Ellie up to talk about Sunset Ridge.
So we also had a great start. The kids were very excited to come back to school. Their faces just make me very happy. We had construction and there was a mad dash. I'm not going to lie. You know, we had orientation for TK and K on Tuesday at 2:00. And there was a mad dash at 1:30 to make sure that everything was cleaned and ready to go. The construction people and CC got everything looking great so that the first day of school we were sparkling and shining. We've had our back to school night and we had a great turnout. And parents seem just as excited to be at school and hear what's happening. We also have done a back to school assembly and just introduced staff to make sure the kids know who they can go to. We're excited that we have a 4th grade junior coach program where the kids have been trained conflict resolution strategies and games. So they're out there at the 2nd and 3rd grade recess, teaching the little kids how to play games and how to resolve conflicts. So every day there's a group of them that come in the office, grab the balls, cart, and their vest and get out onto the playground. So I think we're having a great year. So thank you.
And last but surely not least, Laura from Baltimore will give us a short summary of her beginning of the school year as well.
Hello, everybody. I am so pleased to share that we've had a successful and positive start to this new year at Valleymar. There's a positive energy on campus that you can feel with staff, students, and families all coming together to really create that welcoming and engaging environment for learning. I wanted to say a special thank you to our dedicated teachers and staff, our maintenance workers, our office workers, support staff in the cabinet who worked all summer and so hard over these last 3 weeks to make sure that this year started. It's so far and will continue to be full of growth, discovery, and fun. We have a clean campus. Thank you so much. We have supplies and curriculum. We have an awesome staff. We have pumpkins in our garden. We've had some beautiful summer weather to start this school year as well. So in everything we do at Valleymar, we're guided by our mission to prepare our students for that ever-changing world and to help them grow academically and challenge them to become thoughtful and engaged future leaders. So thank you for all of your support, and we look forward to a fantastic year.
So thank you for allowing us to do a quick summary. Thank you, principals, for coming in, Dr. Williams, the trustees. And if you're wondering, the Magic School Bus will ride again. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, we're on 7C, the Big Lift Grant, and the speaker is Dr. Bowman.
So good evening again. Each board meeting, we want to, as a team, let you know what's going on with teaching and learning throughout the district. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about the Big Lift Grant and the, thank you. And the Big Lift Grant and how it connects to our mission of making sure that our children are prepared, that they are joyful, they're confident, and achieving, and everything that they do with academic, social, physical, the whole child domain. You saw earlier the, would you do a slide, please? Thank you. Earlier, you saw the same display, the same format, looking at this as and it's forming what we do every day. We know kids learn better when they are at school. How can we increase our attendance? And we know that increases our academic. The Big Lift has a very large community engagement part, which we will talk about. And there is a whole equity inclusion framework within the Big Grant. So, excuse me, the Big Lift. I apologize, the Big Lift Grant. And so to give you a little bit of a background, in about 2012, San Mateo County Office of Education, working with the Silicon Valley Commissioner and Community Foundation, even though San Mateo is one of the most affluent cities and counties within the United States, we were still seeing a large percentage of our third graders, 57%, and then 27% of students who in families were considered socially economically disadvantaged were not reading at grade level. And so knowing that our kids were not performing, there was an effort through San Mateo County, and they said, what can we do to support you? How can we do a big lift and get our kids who aren't at the level that they need to be to where they need to be. And what has come from that is the Big Lift grant. Next slide, please. And so there are three purposes for the Big Lift, or three pillars that they build their program on. One is instructional quality, making sure we have curriculum, supplemental curriculum, interventions, making sure that our staff are trained on those interventions and the curriculum, making sure that we're using research-based practices. In addition to that, a large component, which I'll talk a little bit more about, is family engagement. And family engagement is crucial with the Big Lift grant because we know families who, I believe Mr. Davis mentioned as well, when families are involved, they're more likely to go to college, they're more likely to graduate high school. And so the large component of Big Lift pillar is family engagement. And then the third pillar is summers. We know many kids who take that break between June or July and August. They lose some of their skills that they develop through the school year. So this is to prevent that loss. So with the three pillars, there are strategies that the Big Lift grant is going to put in place for all the kids. And as a lucky recipient of that grant, there are missions and strategies that we'll put in place this year. And the first one is to develop a equity framework. You'll see in the goal that there's clear guidance on the Big Lift. You'll also see that this directly connects to what we are doing when we looked at our ACE framework. You'll see that it also connects to what we're doing in our LCAP. And then you'll also see in the previous SIPSAs, but the new SIPSAs, the equity framework and what we're doing, developing it and making sure it's implemented with fidelity connects throughout everything we're currently doing. And it's supported through the Big Lift grant. There are some activities that are taking place currently and that will continue. We're looking at a task force to tell us what we are doing well and areas that we need to grow in. We're looking at making sure that we have data. And I know you'll hear more and more about data as we're going through and seeing the trainings and the data dialogues increase. We're also looking at what are new approaches for families and children at their home, instead of just having a reading night where, they might come in and we read a book to them. Well, how can we teach our parents that when you're going down the road and you can read the stop signs, or, if you're in a supermarket, you can read the labels, and teaching our parents to support the kids' reading development as well. We also have another pillar when we look at the goal. Next, please. And that one is focused on literacy instruction. This one, you're also going to see an ACE, LCAP, everything we're doing, and the instructional framework that Dr. Williams introduced to you a little bit ago. And this is to take the science of reading, the program that we know that works at teaching our kids to read, and we're going to incorporate that into what we're already doing well, but adding some additional enhancements and supports. Activities that you may see, there's going to be more alignment between preschool, TK, and K3. Many times we had pre-K and it was like one stop, then you went to TK and it was a second stop. You're going to see a more fluid structure going through those grades. You're also going to see an increased language learner support and strategies and methodologies. And as a former general education teacher and a special education teacher and a reading teacher, when you're using the strategies that work for multi-language learners or special education students, it's just good teaching. And so you're going to see that through the training that we'll be doing. And again, there's additional ones. The other part of it is that we want to increase the activities for our young kids who may not have the opportunity for preschool, TK, or kindergarten, and have more and more of them come into our schools. The next mission is the high summer quality learning experiences. It started last year, and hopefully you'll see that grow and improve and have more and more kids every summer. And that is to decrease that gap when we leave from the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year. And activities that will help us with those learning experiences are having literacy programs within the summer and literacy programs that occurred during the summer. We also are working very closely with our libraries. I've already met with our library media technicians. I've met with Pacifica Library, San Mateo County Library, and what can we do within our libraries to get kids interested? What books are we having in our libraries? Are they leveled? Is it easy to read? What can our parents have access to? And so these are some of the activities that I mentioned. And then strategy 4 is family engagement. One more slide, please. Thank you. And so you're going to hear throughout the things that we do, again, through all the different pillars, family engagement. Right now, we are looking at programs, not just to get families here on special events, but what can they do if they're a full-time working mom and dad? As a working mom, I couldn't come in every day to read to my son's class, but I could cut out laminate and nobody's business, and I could do that at night. And so coming up with unique ways to get our families involved, that doesn't mean necessarily walking into the school building at that 8 to 3 o'clock hour. And some additional strategies for mission next slide, please. You'll see having ongoing training, making sure that our teachers and staff principals are getting the coaching support that they need, increased communication with the parents. I know Martha mentioned last week, and you'll see throughout that we're really engaging in a attendance campaign. You'll also see that I mentioned that the role of our libraries, both public and our school-based libraries, are also going to take a role. So, and I went through that quickly because I think this is probably the key part that you want to know about. So we got Big Lift grant. What have we done? And so this year alone, we have already collected the family surveys and their information via Parent Square, meaning areas that they wanted help with, areas that they would like education in, things that they may need, not having books at home. And so we were able to do that during the enrollment. We have also already ordered and delivered our decodable books to all K-2 teachers. And we've also purchased the Dibbles reading assessment, which is one of the requirements. And we're already on our second training for Dibbles. And so this Friday, the teachers will start giving Dibbles to our kindergarten through 2nd grade. And Dibbles is something that we can use, and if it's working, we can expand that to other grades. Also, this year, we have made sure that the Big Lift grant and my office through educational support meets with student services and their MTSS framework, and the student services supports that they have. And so we're really looking at that coherence throughout the district, that we don't operate in isolation. Everything we do comes together for the kids. And then we've also already started a literacy newsletter that's been delivered to the TK and 3 teachers. And I would love to tell you that I did all these things on my own, but that would be a lie. Kate Snyder, who is our teacher in special assignment working with Big Lift, unfortunately, she wasn't able to come tonight, but she's been working very hard. We've been talking to principals, we've been talking to teachers, and these are the things that so far in just the first couple of weeks of school have been implemented here at Pacifica. And as we grow and we look at data, we want to make sure that we're doing what we said that we're going to do. So throughout this year, you're going to see progress monitoring. And that means that we're going to be looking at the curriculum. We've already started recruiting teachers for a curriculum committee for ELA. And then based off of that, we will move to other curriculum areas. But ELA is our major concern at this point based on teacher and staff feedback. We've already started the Dibbles training, but we don't believe in one and done. You're going to see that spiral. We're doing our first 3 right now. And then in October, we'll come back around to that. And we are also making sure that if we're giving out either iReady or Dibbles, our principals need to know about that. not necessarily to administer the test, but what do those test results tell us? And how can we teach the teachers to look at that data and plan their next lesson? And then the last, one of the last progress monitoring, we have visited every school and or will visit the rest of this week. And we're doing a needs assessment, talking to the principal, talking to the teachers. Where do they see their literacy program? Where's their curriculum? Do they have what they need? And then based on that, we will be developing a literacy action plan using the supports from the Big Lift grant, and that will be completed by October 31st. And so everything we do is really going to be built on the cohesive nature of all of our departments working together and data-driven instruction. And other things that have occurred and that is going to be part of the progress monitoring is I think I mentioned recruiting the ELA teachers be part of the committee. We are also looking for members and have a survey out and principals helping us find individuals that want to be part of the district implementation team of Big Lift. And then we are also making sure our site-based teams are going to be working with Big Lift and the MTSS framework that is going to be essential to our program that is also going to be cohesive. And so when we look at Big Lift all together, it's bringing the teachers, the leadership, the community, our union partners all together with the focus of this year of improving kindergarten through grade 2 literacy within PSD strategic plan using the Big Lift money that we received. And on the last page, there are just some additional resources for you. The strategic plan, the grant application that we submitted, and then also the executive summary of what the purpose of Big Lift grant is. Questions or anything that I could clarify?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to number 8, the action items. Appointment of Community Advisory Committee Representative for Pacifica School District, and the speaker is Martha.
Okay, good evening, trustees, Dr. Williams. I am here to request that you approve the appointment of Ms. Tara Knotts as our representative to our county SELPA's CAC Community Advisory Representative for our district. The CAC advises school districts, their school boards, and myself and individual schools about the SELPA's local area plan, which is also a way of telling our community about resources that we have for families, for students with disabilities. Ms. Knotts was our representative last year. She's also a co-president of our CPAC, and she really represents the needs of families really well here on the coast. I'm very excited that she stepped up to represent us in the CAC again this year. And so I ask that you approve her appointment as our representative.
Are there any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
In favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next we're on 7C response, or sorry, 8C response to grand jury report. And the speaker is Dr. Bowman.
Thank you again, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Williams. I've had the opportunity to speak to you a good deal, and this is my last time this evening. The grand jury recently released a report looking at internal controls in San Mateo counties, agencies, and school districts. The report indicated that at all levels, at all entities, no matter what their size, that there needed to be improved internal controls. As a result of this report, we as a school district have submitted the internal report control from what we will do as a response to the the grand jury's findings. And so we are asking that you please approve the Pacifica School District 2023-24 grand jury report findings, indicating that we have and or will throughout this school year meet all of the internal controls and findings recommended by the grand jury related to section 93305 of the California Penal Code. But this time we'd ask for your recommendation to pass or approve this grand jury summary.
Are there any questions? All right, we have a motion to approve. Motion to approve. Second,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, D, contract regarding hazardous soil sampling, 930 Odstead Boulevard, and the speaker is Dr. Davis.
Good afternoon, Board President of the Lobos, members of the board, Superintendent Williams. We have an action item here, action item 8D, contract regarding hazardous soil sampling. And we also have a guest here if he chooses to speak or if we have any additional questions regarding the contract. Brookwood Group, in conjunction with the facilities manager of the Pacifica School District, issued a request for proposals to test the materials used for the construction of the school buildings and adjacent paving for 930 Odstead Boulevard. The testing is required by regulatory agencies prior to demolition to identify materials that have been identified as hazardous and to establish an abatement procedure to remove and properly dispose of hazardous material prior to demolition of an existing school building and adjacent paving. With that being said, it is recommended that the board approve the staff awarding for the hazardous material contract for 930 Onstadt Boulevard to Intertech PSI. Of that, just a little background information. It's an open process where we ask for requests for proposals. As you all know, we are required to take the lowest bid. We received 3 qualified bids, one being, of course, the accepted one being Intertech, a second one being CSA in the amount of $28,980, and a third one from Millennium for $58,635. Being prudent with public funding, the lowest bid was accepted, that being $16,421 in Intercept.
Are there any questions?
I just kind of a question of why there's such a discrepancy. We're taking dirt out of the ground and putting in some vials,
You know, the short answer is everyone's for profit.
Yeah.
And so they pretty much determine their own rates. Of course, we do make certain we have ratings that are backed by unions and tradespersons within unions as well. But nonetheless, the vast difference between the third one and the first one is astonishing, I will say myself. We do not have any control over what they submit to us, but nonetheless, irrespective of that, we do need to take the lowest bid.
And then I guess the lowest bid is gonna fulfill all the requirements we need.
Yes, the scope of work is pretty much the same. Yes, it is. And so my task is to always look for the change of order to see if we're trying to upgrade later on.
Okay. Thank you.
I think in the past, it's been not necessarily have to take the lowest bid, but the lowest responsible.
Always responsible.
So if the really low one shows that it's, gonna have a lot of add-ons or
Correct.
order changes or things like that, that's not the lowest responsible. So.
Correct.
You have to go to the lab.
Or, yeah.
You have to go to lab, excuse me.
Yeah,
You have to
lab.
approach the podium. Thank you.
Just taking the lowest bid from the internal.
So, Intertech PSI did a assessment of the hazardous materials at the site in 1992. So they've already been very familiar with the site. The second bidder, Intertech, and the second bidder that at 28,000 both came to our site walk and were very familiar with the scope of work. The third bidder that bid the 58,000 George Machado pointed out that it's $2,000 less than the sort of threshold where we would have had to have done a more formal bidding process, and that they did not attend the walkthrough and were really not familiar with the project. So I think that sort of the spread was based on one firm having a lot of familiarity with the project, another one who didn't have any at all, and that sort of was why we ended up with this big price difference. Hope that helps.
You know, if their work in 1992 was satisfactory.
We did, I mean, it was very detailed in terms of mapping all the areas in the building where there were materials. And the reason we had to redo the testing was because the building had been occupied by the leased occupants, and that there'd been some changes in mechanical equipment in that time span. So there are slight differences in what would be identified. But they're very legitimate, long-lived company, actually, given that they were here in 1992 and still here in 2024. They're doing something right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Are there any other comments or questions? So do we have a motion to approve? A motion to approve?
I'll second.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're finishing up. Board of Trustees, Superintendent's recap and future agenda items. Does anybody have?
I just want to acknowledge the amount of work that went into the beginning of the school year and how it just seemed very organized, and it's probably the most good organized opening I've seen in many, many years around here. So I want to appreciate, say thank you to everyone that was involved in it. So
I'll second that.
Anybody else?
And the energy felt really great. And it always does every school year, but this year definitely felt different. So thank you to all the staff, the teachers.
During the summertime, I live right by Ortega, so I'm always driving by Ortega, and I always look at the fields, and I can't help it. And everything looked really wonderful this year. I wasn't able to make it to the first day of school because I was going to my first day of school, but yeah, so thank you, everybody. Future agenda item, I do have one. And so we have had the land acknowledgement for about 3 years now. And now it's time for us to do some action. So those are just words. And so now every time I hear it, I'm thinking, okay, what do we need to do? And so I'd like to put it on the agenda for the board to discuss. Maybe I'm just throwing things up, but how can we get a connection between the land and what the kids do at school, maybe in the gardening programs, and if there'd be some formal kind of program that we can do to keep it ongoing. So I wanted to add that to the agenda.
Do you think Mr. Castro would consider coming and speaking to the students?
Who?
Mr. Castro, isn't that?
Could reach out and see. They do, I'm trying to think of their website. They do have an extensive amount of information on their website. So I'm going to review that again, and if you want, I can send the link and she can send it out to everybody. Okay, anybody else? Anything? No? Okay, so the meeting's adjourned at.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
7:48.
Beat you to it.
No.
Recording stopped.